Before we get into the video, please make sure you give video a like and subscribe to our channel. It means a lot. Thank you and enjoy watching. Number 5. I have a doppelganger. Late at night, I usually go to the bathroom multiple times, but for the past 4 days. Every time I try to leave the bathroom, I can see myself still standing in the mirror. From the corner of my eye. It is like the other me is watching me leave the bathroom. It terrifies me to the point where I almost run out. Without even looking directly at the mirror. I never told my husband about it because I didn't want to acknowledge it out loud. Earlier today I took a nap in our bed while he sat in the chair next to it watching TV. When I woke up, he told me that he had seen me sit up and crawl backward to the edge of the bed and stand up in front of our bedroom door from the corner of his eye. He thought it was weird that I got up like that because I'm in the last month of my pregnancy and I can't really move so good without it hurting, so he tried talking to me. When I didn't answer, he looked at the door to find that I was not there and still sleeping in bed. I got really creeped out and I finally told him about what I have been seeing in the bathroom. He thought it was creepy as well, but he didn't really want to talk about it anymore because he thinks it will give it power or energy. I have no idea what it wants or why we both saw it. I just hope I never see it again. Number 4. The Legend of Somerville Light. There is a legend in Somerville about a railroad track where once upon a time, a conductor would jump off a train when it would slow down to meet his wife who had a lantern with her. One night, the conductor fell off the train. His head went under the track and the wheel cut off his head. His wife found the body, but she never found his head. That railroad track doesn't exist anymore. But every night there would be a flicker of light and people say it's her looking for her husband's head. Once, 4 boys heard about this legend and they started laughing at it. They decided to go out and prove to everyone there is no such thing as Somerville Light. 4 friends and their dog got in their car and came to the place where apparently Somerville Light shows every night. They decided to sit and wait there for an hour. After waiting, they wanted to go home when suddenly, they spotted a bright blue light. When they saw the light, it suddenly went over the car they were in and cut off the whole power in the car. The dog suddenly started groaning and apparently every hair on his body was sticking up. The light supposedly stood there for a couple minutes. The light suddenly vanished and the car's power went back on. These boys said they have seen the Somerville Light and their dog was scared to death. They are lucky they got out alive. Number 3. We bought a house from a serial killer. I was about 14. I was staying up way too late on the computer. It was about 2 in the morning and everyone else was asleep. I got thirsty and wandered down the hallway to get a drink. I didn't bother to turn on any light since there was a nightlight in the hallway and there was enough light to get by. I got my drink and started walking back to my room. As I was walking back to the bedroom, I got this weird feeling like someone was watching me. I turned around. So there was this big white mist just floating right behind me, in the darkness. I immediately turned around and went back into my room. The thing is, there were no windows facing that hallway and I hadn't passed the nightlight yet. So it definitely wasn't a trick of the light. All the doors leading to the hallway were also closed. A few years later, when I was moved to the small room closest to that spot, I got really bad anxiety and couldn't sleep without a lamp on. It wasn't until some time later, after the sighting, that I learned that in the 80s, the guy was renting out the house which is ours now. He was arrested for the kidnap, rape, and disappearance of a bunch of kids in the area. And for the suspected murder of his wife. They never found her. And she supposedly ran away, according to him. Police dogs went over the whole property, but they never found anything. The cops must not have done a good job though, because when we moved in, my mom found a pair of boys' underwear in the toilet tank. The missing wife was never found and he died in prison about a decade ago. But I think she's still here, somewhere in this house. Number 2. Unexisting numbers keep calling me. Until a few years ago I still had a flip phone. One day I got a random call asking for some girl named Sarah. I told them they had the wrong number and they hung up. For the next few months, I would get these calls asking for Sarah about once or twice a week. Coming from different numbers and different sounding people. Sometimes these calls came at 3 in the morning. One day I got a call and like usual, I said I didn't know Sarah. After they hung up, I went to my contacts and hit redial. The answering machine said that number did not exist. I went back through my call history, trying to call some other people that had called me, but result was the same. The machine telling me the number did not exist. Every time I would get these calls, I would redial the number. And still got the machine saying the same thing. I googled the numbers. But all I learned was that were coming from North Dakota, Montana. And basically everywhere in the Midwest. The next time I got a call asking for Sarah, I said, "Oh yeah, she is right here," and the other person on the other end said, "No she isn't," and hung up. Things started getting weird. When I started getting calls from unknown numbers. Whoever was on the other end hung up the second I said hello. Once I got a call where they didn't hang up after I said hello. I could hear someone was on the other end. Just listening, but they didn't say anything. I felt freaked out. Till this day. I have no idea what was up with that phone, or why were these numbers calling me. Or even who was Sarah. I'm just glad that it stopped. Number 1. Haunted Hotel. When I was 15, I traveled to Europe with my family. We stayed in Edel, in Germany, in a small hotel for a few nights. My parents had a double bed on the second floor. My sisters had the double bedroom next to theirs. And I was lucky enough to have a single room all to myself, at the far end of the hall. When we went to check into our rooms, as soon as I entered the hallway our rooms were in, I remember almost feeling as though I walked into a wall of strange energy. I just felt so unnerved and uneasy in that hallway. But I passed it off as an overactive imagination. I slept the first night without any issues other than waking up a few times. The next morning at breakfast, one of my sisters mentioned feeling really uncomfortable in the hallway, almost as if the air was crushing. It unnerved me even more that I wasn't the only one who felt weirded out. Plus she was an adult at the time. So it further cemented in my head that something about that hotel was odd. Later that night, I'm sleeping peacefully when at about 2 a.m. I'm woken by something ripping the covers off of me. And being jerked about 2 feet towards the end of the bed by my ankle. At first, I thought someone had broken into my room. Because when I turned towards what had grabbed me, a huge black shape was visible in the darkness, like a man was in my room. He was just staring at me, and he looked like he was smiling. I frantically flipped the light on, only to see that I'm completely alone in the room. The window was locked from the inside, there was no one in the closet or the bathroom. And my room was also still locked from the inside. I stayed up the rest of the night, playing games on my phone. The next morning, we were at breakfast. And my sister mentions that she was up half the night. Because she thought she saw a silhouette against the wall of the room staring at her. But when she turned on the light there was no one there. When our parents heard that, we checked out the same day, but the thought what could have happened to us if we stayed for one more night still freaks me out to this day. If you made it this far, I would like to thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. It only takes 3 seconds of your day and it's completely free. But it means a lot to me. Also, like this video. Thank you very much, you just made my day.